If you actually look at the Steven Crowder situation, this is a man who's been with his wife for like ever, but now she wants a divorce. And one of the things he was saying in his commentary about it was he was like, "Well, my wife wants a divorce, and even though I don't want a divorce, I guess that's her legal right." And when he's saying it, it just sounds so off because the implication is that he wishes that it wasn't her legal right. And when you put it like that, that's when it sounds weird. Like, what do you want? To be able to lock your wife in the basement so that she can't leave you? Like, why would you even want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you at the end of the day?
So before the advent of no-fault divorce, we had situations that we permitted in situations of divorce. And that would be adultery, abuse, addiction, abandonment, right? And if that took place, one spouse was deemed at fault. And then the court and all of society could side with the innocent spouse and reward the innocent and reward the mom or dad that was trying to keep the marriage together, trying to protect the kids, trying to do what was best, right? That is no longer where we are today. Today, we have a no-fault divorce system. And yet, the no-fault divorce laws gives the most power to the spouse that is misbehaving the most. And so, in a general sense, you can say, well, we don't really want an outside party involved. But as soon as you're seeing it in your life and you are listening to the kid who's saying, you know, every night I go to bed sad and I don't know why, then you're like, get that third party in here and make that person own up to what they committed to, because it is victimizing the innocent.
I'm opposed to divorce, but we're speaking specifically now about no-fault divorce, because we're probably not going to agree on divorce broadly, but we might at least agree that no-fault divorce is very, very bad. Because you're saying, well, if one is not able to have a no-fault divorce, then, they might have to stick with that spouse that they don't like that much, or the spouse got kind of fat and I don't like him anymore, whatever. But first of all, it's definitely better for the kids, in as much as the studies are reliable on this. Kids who grow up in a home of a mother and a father bound together in marriage do better across every single criteria. But furthermore, you're neglecting the negative aspects of divorce. When people do get divorced, and then if they have kids, and God forbid they get divorced, if you introduce a stepfather into that relationship, the odds that those kids are abused or sexually assaulted go through the roof. Actually, at a more basic level, because we could rattle off the statistics all day, at the basic level, we recognize that the marriage is the fundamental political unit. The liberals say the individual is the fundamental political unit, but I think that's bunk. I think it's the family, because political means multiple people.
Marriage, they say, is like a tornado. It starts with a lot of action and ends with everything in ruins. Critics are up in arms about no-fault divorce, which lets you end a marriage without proving anyone did anything wrong. While it might have sounded good at first, critics now say it's a disaster. They claim it's turned marriage into a money-making scheme, with people planning starter marriages like they're just trying out a new phone. As long as these divorce laws stay in place, more men are expected to run for the hills, avoiding anything long-term. Critics say these laws are causing more single-parent households, wrecking the stability of the nuclear family, which apparently used to be a big deal. They also point out that since these laws came in, things have gone downhill fast. Crime rates are up, graduation rates are down, and there are more people behind bars or pregnant as teenagers. Basically, they're comparing these divorce laws to trading in a toothbrush for a metal file and hammer, a crazy and destructive change in how society works. Even with all our fancy technology and global connections, things seem to be getting worse, not better. Critics even suggest that these divorce laws were pushed by communist feminists not to help women, but to mess with America, making it weaker and more likely to fall to communism. To fight back against these feminist commies, some people want to bring back old-fashioned values and get men more involved in family life. They think divorce should only happen if someone cheats or beats their spouse, and you'd need real proof, not just accusations, to get a divorce. They say we should be helping couples work through their problems instead of taking the easy way out with divorce, which just messes up kids. They believe that raising kids right and turning them into good citizens is tough but worth it, and it means putting the family first, even when you'd rather not. The argument here is that we should change laws to make divorce less appealing and to encourage married couples to stick it out. Because, nothing says love and commitment like legal coercion. Just kidding. But hey, if it helps heal the Western world, I guess it's worth a shot. Just don't hold your breath for instant results. This kind of thing could take decades. So get ready for the long haul. Oh, and while we're at it, let's abolish alimony and title livery D. Because why not make divorce even more financially crippling, right? Now, onto the 19th Amendment. According to the LOTT Kenny report, men are basically bankrolling women's existence through taxes. Women apparently rack up a negative fiscal impact of $150,000 by the time they kick the bucket. Meanwhile, men are out here, supporting them financially, even when women hit their closest point to breaking even at age 55. But wait, there's more. Despite feminists' gripes about men benefiting from society, they conveniently overlook the fact that male taxpayers are the ones footing the bill for women's lifestyles. And surprise, surprise, feminists seem to love a big government. Could it be because, historically, women relied on wealthy husbands for cash, and now they can get it from the government instead? The report even suggests that government tax revenue and spending in the USA doubled within 10 years of women getting the vote. Coincidence? I think not. So, in conclusion, no-fault divorce is basically a disaster waiting to happen. Because why settle for an amicable split when you can turn your entire life, including your finances, home, and kids, into a legal battleground? Sounds like a blast. The current marriage setup is like a playground for one party to contribute zilch, and even resort to lying and cheating just to exploit the other party. So it's time to rethink this so-called marriage contract. Getting rid of no-fault divorce is supposedly the savior of marriage, at least according to what's happening in the Western world. Some men are worried that axing no-fault divorce might lead to a flood of fake abuse claims against them. They're not too keen on trusting the courts to protect their rights. To tackle the financial perks driving women to divorce, let's scrap alimony entirely and make child support stick to the actual cost of raising a kid. Outrageous awards to keep up a fancy lifestyle should be scrapped. Or better yet, everyone should sign a prenup before saying "I do," laying out alimony and child support terms. And let's not forget the call for harsh penalties for women who cook up abuse stories just to justify a divorce. Plus, if a woman cheats, she should lose her right to alimony and share custody of the kids equally. For men, marriage vows are seen as a covenant, not just a contract. That means even if the partner is a total dud and doesn't hold up her end of the bargain, the man is still stuck keeping his promises or facing legal trouble. While marriage used to be a two-way street nowadays, it's more like a highway to nowhere legally. In the marriage game, men often get the short end of the stick. Legally, this means women don't have to give anything back to men, not even a pledge of faithfulness. Basically, the woman promises to do stuff for her hubby if she feels like it, and if not, tough luck. Legally, an agreement where one or both parties aren't getting anything in return isn't a contract and can't be enforced. So while marriage is supposed to be a covenant for men, for women, it's more like a blank check. Men should have the right to divorce their wives if they're denied physical intimacy. And let's make sure every newborn's birth certificate comes with a mandatory DNA test for paternity verification. Men, on the other hand, should be legally and financially accountable for every child they father, with the goal of discouraging promiscuity and unfaithfulness. Advocates push for a complete patriarchy, rejecting half measures. No-fault divorce is just the tip of the iceberg. The real issues lie in the legal obligations of alimony and financial exploitation during divorce. Society as a whole bears the consequences of no-fault divorce. It's a warning for future generations, reminding them not to sacrifice their principles and to stand firm in their beliefs. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.